Alright everybody, welcome to Oracle's channel here. I am Oracle and we're going to talk about our favorite men from the Friday the 13th franchise. This is the last video. This is Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, Freddy vs. Jason, and the 2009 remake. And first up is from Jason Goes to Hell, Creighton Duke. I thought he was the most interesting character out of the entire film. You know, he's a bounty hunter, and he knows all these things about Jason. And you got to think, guys, this is the first film that went to New Line. This came out a couple years later after Jason Takes Manhattan, which was Paramount's last Friday the 13th film. So, yeah, Creighton Duke's a very interesting character. I love the scene where he is... got that scene in the jail cell with Steven, and Steven wants to know what's going on with Jason, what's going on with this, what's going on. I mean, basically the whole thing. And Creighton goes ahead and plays this game with him. You want that? That's sort of information is expensive. Are you ready to pay? And he basically does this thing with his fingers where he just, like that. He does it not once but twice, and then the third time he says, "This is on the house," you know, and it tells him the whole rules. The way he, with Jason, you know, he can be reborn, and the only way he can naturally truly die is by the hands of a Voorhees. So there you go. Steve Williams, to me, is a great actor. I've seen him in a couple of things. I believe he was in one of the, I want to say one of the Missing in Action films with Chuck Norris. That was back in the 80s. He was also in a scene with in Better Off Dead, which was pretty funny to me. And but yeah, he's a great actor. I really enjoyed the Creighton Duke character. I think that is my favorite character in the film. I think right behind him would have been Steve, the Steven character. So we're going to go ahead, and I'm looking at my notes down here. I'm going to go with my next one. We're going with Jason X. We're going to go with Sonoran. Sonoran, the guy that created the KM-14, Lisa Ryder's character, the android or the cyborg, whatever you want to call her. I thought that character was badass. I mean, Sonoran I really enjoyed. He was by far my favorite out of the male characters in the film. The counterpart to me I really enjoyed the most as well out of the ladies was Rowan and Janessa were my two favorites out of the ladies. So, I mean, there you go. Adrian's death scene was awesome with the liquid nitrogen. But, yeah, Sonoran, just, he's very, very smart. I mean, you notice that in the scene where Professor Lowe asked him, does anybody know what's on his face, referring to Jason when they open up the cryostasis unit, and Janessa says, some type of carbon filtration unit, and Sunderland says, it's a hockey mask, and then KM-14 says, used in a sport outlawed in 2020 something, or whatnot, you know. But yeah, definitely a real fun character. I love Sonoran. He's definitely a fun character to see on screen. And Chuck Campbell, I think that's the actor, Chuck Campbell, the guy that plays him, is fantastic. I really enjoyed his acting. I did not have anything written down for Freddy vs. Jason, but I'm going to go with Christopher George Marquette, who played Linderman in Freddy vs. Jason. I think the character kind of reminds me of myself a little bit in a way. He really liked Laurie, but then again, Laurie has always been in love with Will. So, but then again, you know, there's a thing going on with Linderman and Kia, played by Kelly Rowland, former Destiny's Child R&B group singer. I think that was really, really fun. I mean, it's an all-over fun film. Anyway, I just love it, even though it's a crossover film. But I still love the film as well. And yeah, his character I really enjoyed a lot. Christopher George Marquette as Linderman for the 2009 Friday the 13th remake reboot. And I've said this many times. I did not like this film. I can never get into it, but I'm going to go with Jared Padalecki's character, Clay. I thought he was one of my favorite characters. Out of the ladies in that film, it was a tie between Amanda Rigetti and Daniel Panabaker in that film. But Clay, I thought that was really cool. You know, he's on the search for his sister. He's going from place to place, putting up missing photos of his sister, asking people around town, around Crystal Lake, has anybody seen her and whatnot. And this guy is a guy that's not going to stop until he finds her, and eventually he does, and it comes down the two of them surviving. And I might have spoiled that, but who cares? Everybody knows what a Friday the 13th is, but Clay. So there we go. That is my finish and my grand finale for my favorite men of the Friday the 13th franchise. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And now we're going to go ahead and get ready for the next one coming right up, and it's going to be a little bit of a surprise.